All right, man. Our good brother Keyshawn Davis. I mean, the talent is amazing, bro. He stole the show. Keyshawn, Shoo, and Jarrell Miller's wig stole the show. But Keyshawn is a really good fighter. He looked more fuller. He looked more healthier in this fight. The jab was great. Think about it. He been off over a year. Supposed to fight Edwin in June. And he been off over probably close to a year. The jab was phenomenal. The body work was phenomenal. His poise was really good. He don't waste no energy. He ain't jittery. And I agree with Sergio Mora when he talking about the wide stand. I'm not a fan of the wide stands, but if you're a great athlete, you got great feet, you can operate out the wide stance and still be mobile. But the wide stance is usually an indication that you looking to punch. When you come with a wider stance, it's usually punch. If y'all ever watched the Avatar: The Last Airbender, watch the Earthbenders. A lot of the stances that they move is out of wide stances. A lot of when they bend, it's the wide stance. So when you talking about that wide stance, if you're not athletically lifted in the feet, that's why it didn't really work for Broner. Broner had a hard time cutting the ring off on guys. It's because Broner didn't have great feet. Keyshawn is a great athlete from head to toe. He's, for a nut job outside the ring. His alter ego inside the ring. He a nut outside the ring, but he really calm inside the ring. He's really calm inside the ring. And with 13 fights last night, 14 fights, I knew when I seen how big he was compared to Jamaine. I said, he about to fuck Jamaine Ortiz up, bro. I ain't know, even watching him, I ain't know he was that big until he faced off with him. I saw he about to knock him out. He got the mentality, if you can't hurt Keyshawn Davis, you in for a long night, because he know how to close the gap on a nigga like Jamaine Ortiz. And if you was hoping that T.O. was going to win, when you seen how easily Keyshawn beat Jamaine Ortiz, that fight wasn't remotely close. When you see how easily he beat Jamaine Ortiz, you knew T.O. didn't have a chance. You should have cashed your ticket out as soon as possible. But the jab that he was using, taking his time, he take his time. It really ain't no rush. He carried power into the 12th round after the layoff. That probably had a lot to do with the extra 5 pounds. Everything is technically right. He in position to move his head out of that wide base. He should probably go fuck with James Toney too, man. I think James Toney can really complete his training. His coach, people talking a lot about Bomac being there now. They had a great plan, work off the jab. It ain't never a bad game plan to work off the jab. I've never seen it before. How did Montel Griffin give Roy Jones problems? One of the most unconventional fighters of all time. Him, Emmanuel Augustus. How you beat him? You beat him with fundamentals. Eddie Futch had him beat him with a jab. That's why, when Roy knocked him out, he fell out. A lot of people felt like that was out of frustration. A lot of people act like Montel Griffin just, he was a little bit. Hey, it is what it is. People should have said Tim Tszyu should have did the same thing versus Sebastian Fondora. But that jab, bro, the jab gonna take you all the way to the top. If you don't use it, it can take you all the way to the basement. So, Jamaine Ortiz, Jamaine Ortiz, when y'all seen Jamaine Ortiz being more aggressive, he knew he couldn't box Ortiz. He couldn't box Keyshawn on the outside all night. You be like, CJ, why couldn't he box him on the outside? It ain't T.O. He got a jab. When you got a jab, you can't move the way. When you got a good, decent jab, and as long as jab as Keyshawn's was, the difference between T.O. performance and Keyshawn performance, it wasn't that Keyshawn punched harder or Keyshawn was more stronger. And some of that might have been true. The true point was Jamaine Ortiz couldn't utilize and pivot even around a guy with a wider base because of the jab. The jab didn't allow him to pivot. And also, Keyshawn's ability to be mobile. But he could jab and Keyshawn would be like, drop a right hand to the body. Keyshawn is fundamentally sound. T.O. is getting by off athletic ability. And I ain't say this in the Shakur fight. So excuse my French. I ain't say this in the Shakur fight. I told y'all, bruh. Oh, T.O. Dan Cambiano, or was it he said, or him, or was it Chris Algieri said T.O. was faster than Keyshawn? He fast against non-niggas. And y'all know I'm gonna talk about Keith Shakur wearing that fucking Puerto Rican patch. I'm gonna say that for the live. But he's fast versus not versus white boy Brads versus Hector's. He not athletic when it comes to us. I've been saying that for years now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been saying that for years. For years. So, but when you got a jab with Jamaine Ortiz, when you got a jab, he can't do all that shit he was doing for T.O. You can't travel around the world. I've been around the world. I've been playing. Hey, you can't move like that. That jab would hold them on the ropes. See, Zepeda was able to get Shakur on the ropes with pressure. Had he jabbed, the nigga would have won that fight. I'm telling Charlie, had he threw a jab and a 1-2, he'd have won that fight. And Keyshawn shows you the difference of a jab. It's hard to control distance without a jab, bro. That's why Keyshawn was able to control Jamaine Ortiz. That's why Devin was able to control Brian Norman Jr. with a jab. With a jab. The jab would do it for you. The jab would take you to the top, and the lack of the jab would put you in the goddamn basement of boxing. Use the jab. That's going to stop the mobile, him being mobile. The jab helped cut off the ring. I never hear people talk about that. The jab helped people cut off the ring. Because when I throw a jab, you got to respect it. When I throw a jab, a good jab, you got to respect. So you got to do something. So I throw a jab, what you going to do? You either got to, slip. You ain't going to roll, you just going to slip it. And when you slip it, guess what? I might just throw a jab out there. I might throw a jab and you slip it. I might feint one, you slip again. Next time I might throw a double jab. You know what I'm saying? Get you out of position, drop that right hand right there where your head going. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might shoot the jab at the solar plex. Right here, I might shoot the bow. Now you thinking about, hey, let me do bow. Put that right hand right there. Bow. Drop the right hand. I mean, the jab do so much, man. It controls distance, it's close distance, depending on how you use it. It help you cut the ring off. It help you, once you throw the right hand in there, it help you get your hooks off. If you start with the jab, you'll start getting what you want in the body. But yeah, he used the jab and that was the difference. He was strong. The jab slowed Ortiz down, and then shout out to Ortiz. He bit down. He strapped his nuts on, and he fought. He fought for his victory. The difference was Keyshawn used the jab. T.O. didn't. He made, Jamaine Ortiz come to him and with a wide stance. With a wide stance. And Keyshawn is God-given athletic ability. He got really good poise. He hold his position well. He throw his punches technically. He believe in the jab. He's got good punch variety. He tried to uppercut it. Both of them tried to uppercut a couple times. They both was just good at moving. He hit a moving target. He made a moving target, a stationary target. He made a moving target come to him, and he banged him out his frame, dogged him out. That's how you do it, bro. That's how you do it. That's the importance of a jab. That's importance of a jab and poise and patience. It takes patience to use the jab. It takes patience to close the gap off. Ask Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., man. It take a lot of patience for him to close the gap on a guy like Mildred Taylor, Roger Mayweather. It ain't gonna happen in 1 or 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen. Sometimes you got fighters that got great conditioning and they can box for 12 rounds and they can move for 12. But a lot of times, once you really land them traps in there, you land, and the part of cutting that ring off is laying a body shot in there, laying another body shot in there. You making them stationary, using the jab. You just picking your shots. He stole the show last night. Him, Jarrell Miller, Wig, and Shushu Carrington. He stole the show. But a jab is imperative when you fighting a mover. You notice Mayweather didn't fight a lot of niggas with good jabs. That's why he ain't like fighting niggas. Miguel Cotto had a really good jab and gave him all types of fists. When you fighting guys like Roy, Shakur Stevenson, Bernard Hopkins used to lose to a nigga with a good jab all the time. Chad Dawson, that's why he faked it in the first fight. A good jab. That's why a lot of Hispanic fighters tend to struggle with black fighters, especially Black American fighters. They don't have a jab. That's how you beat them. It ain't all about the athletic gap, because at a point in the fight, that gap gonna shrink. Especially once you start beating the motherfucker up. the jab is the key, man. The jab is the key, man. But hey, shout out to Keyshawn Davis, man. He's special, bro. He's special. I think he'll beat Shakun. I'm gonna stand on that. Yeah, he'll beat Shakun about 20, get him about 20 fights. I'll put the bag on it. He'll beat him. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree. It's the first in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Patreon, the whole 9 piece. Check out the Fight Reaction playlist.